Thank you for joining us this morning as we announce a landmark proposal regarding the future of the city of Los Angeles. Recently, economists have said that although we're no longer in a recession, and as I said to a group of community leaders on Saturday, it's hard to comprehend that we would not still be in a recession when you see the level of unemployment. But those economists say it will take years for LA and cities across the country to recover from the economic downturn. Last year, we implemented a number of severe budget cutting measures. We laid off hundreds of workers, and as I understand it, and there aren't complete records on that, we've laid off more employees in the city in the last year than we had over the last 40. We've reduced the city payroll by nearly 3,500 workers. We've had to consolidate and in some cases eliminate departments. We have employees who are currently receiving a raise by contract, taking 26 days of furloughs. Employees who are not receiving a raise taking some 16 days of furloughs. As you know, I've taken a 16% cut over the last 2 years and a 4% cut before that. But we did what we had to do in order to balance our budget and keep the city financially stable. There was a lot of talk about where the city was going last year. I said that under my watch and working with the city council, we would balance our budget, and we have. But we also know that there's still a structural imbalance between revenues and expenditures. A projected general fund deficit driven by rising pension and health care costs. Costs that, if left unchecked, will continue to rise, and costs which are simply unsustainable. And that's the key here. Today, we're proposing a sworn pension reform plan that will save the city money without limiting our recruitment and retention efforts at our police and fire departments. Under our reform plan, for every 1,000 new hires, the city will save $173 million over a period of time. And I'll let the CAO discuss the specific details of the proposal, but I need to establish a few things first. One, I'm not an ideologue. I didn't run for office on the platform of pension reform. It wasn't an issue. I remember doing some 70 odd debates with my opponents in 2001 and 2005 as well. Well, 2005 I think it was about 50 debates, so over 100 debates. Rick was probably at a good portion of them. I don't remember pension reform coming up in one question, Rick, and you were around. I don't remember the issue being raised by anyone at the time. And so I can't tell you that this was something I ran on, that this is something that I come to because of some ideological position that I hold. Frankly, I come to it because we're going to have to resolve our budget issues. And I come to it because we're going to have to stand for the proposition that we have to be sustainable in our practices. For the last 4 years, I've heard the same arguments against my plan to build up the police department. I've heard it was too expensive. By hiring all these officers, the mayor's only adding to the city's crushing pension obligation. And as I said, I didn't run for this office on a promise to reform public pensions, but I did run on a promise to modernize and diversify and grow our police department, to keep the city I love safer than it's ever been by expanding a police force committed to the community. And the plan has worked. You know, even in these tough times, the one thing we can all say with a smile is that the city is safer than any time since 1952. You can go to Hollywood, to LA Live, downtown, you can go to Hollywood, you can go to virtually every part of the city, and crime is down across the board, even in the midst of a debilitating recession. And by working with the community and redefining how police respond to crime in our most at-risk neighborhoods, we've reduced crime, gang crime, by more than 40% in historically neglected high-crime communities. Some of you were at the Summer Night Lights press conference where I was with the council president and the budget chair, and we chronicled the 70% drop in some categories of gang crime, the over 50% drop in homicides around Summer Night Lights parks. Things are working without question. So given the choice between reforming pensions for new sworn personnel and ceasing police hiring, it's a no-brainer. I choose pension reform. The plan our CEO has developed and submitted to the council on Friday is reasonable by all measures. It is a smart plan designed to encourage our sworn personnel to stay on the job longer before they qualify for the pension benefits officers and firefighters today receive with far fewer years of service. This not only reduces the taxpayers' obligation to fund the pension system, it also promotes a more stable and invested public safety force, and for good reason. We want our police officers and our firefighters to stay for the longer term, to invest in the community that they serve, and to develop long-term relationships with the people who rely upon them for their basic health and safety. Now, the city will continue to provide substantial pension benefits to employees who earn them, but those benefits must be sustainable. And on that point, I'm obligated to say clearly, the era of free health care is over. I believe strongly that we have a special obligation to our sworn officers and firefighters to provide reasonable health care while they serve the city and in retirement. But we simply cannot continue to provide that benefit for free. You know, in a conversation with the Executive Secretary of the County Federation of Labor, as we were debating this issue on the phone, I said, so let me ask you, how much are your employees at the County Fed paying for retiree health? And the answer was, they don't get retiree health. We're not arguing that our employees shouldn't get retiree health. What we are arguing is that they're going to have to pay for some of the cost of that health care. This new pension plan and all new contracts with existing personnel will require our employees to pay at least 2% of their salary into the pension fund for retiree health care. In exchange, the city will agree to continue the benefit which is currently provided to our employees free of charge. I'm urging the City Council to put this reform plan on the ballot for the March 11th election. Time is of the essence. In order for this plan to qualify for the ballot, the Council must act by November 3rd. I'm confident that if presented with this reasonable plan, Angelenos will approve this reform measure.